have members over here, each who represent 700,000 people. You cannot just have a one-sided investigation. There is absolutely something wrong with that, and it is absolutely un-American.
We had a hearing. It was adjourned. I gave you an opportunity to ask a question. You had no question.
That was from earlier in the week, and that story continues today. Darrell Issa, Elijah Cummings getting into a heated exchange. Issa apparently apologizing, Cummings accepting that apology, but the Reverend Jesse Jackson tweeting the following: Congressman Darrell Issa's behavior was crude, wrong, racist, and mean toward Congressman Elijah Cummings. Do you agree? Let's talk about that with David Webb, Sirius XM radio host and Fox News contributor. Richard Fowler is a radio host on the Richard Fowler Show. Gentlemen, good day to both of you. And happy Friday.
Good morning, Bill.
Richard, why is race even interjected into, or injected rather, I should say,
well, listen,
into this back and forth between Cummings and Issa? Why does that even come up?
Well, I think the race card is it's a little far off on this one. What I will say is that the civility in the United States House of Representatives has been totally lost, especially when it comes to the Government Reform Committee. This seems to be a witch hunt by Darrell Issa that I think it's just unbecoming of our United States Congress, totally speaking, and not to mention the fact that this committee has already ruled that not only did they inappropriately target conservative groups, but they also targeted liberal groups and progressive groups as well. So it's not a political thing here. It's mismanagement, no question. But politics, not at all.
So you would take back that racist word, wouldn't you?
I would say that it went a little too far. That's my personal
opinion. Now, David,
opinion.
here's what I'm trying to figure out. Why put that card on the table?
Because old demagogues like Jesse Jackson, who are basically irrelevant in today's dialogue, that's all they have to play. You know, Richard likes to deflect from the issue by starting to talk about Congress. Let's not deflect from the fact that calling someone a racist is a serious charge. And when you do that, it should be something where there is evidence of true racist behavior. But this is Jesse Jackson, who also, 3 hours after he issued that tweet, on his Twitter stream, and anyone can look it up, said that name-calling is not acceptable to someone who called him a name on Twitter. It's the hypocrisy. This is where we are. It's not about the dialogue. It's about the race baiters and the grievances in this street.
You can call him rude, you can disagree with him, but why go there?
Absolutely. Because that's all he has, Bill. This is Jesse Jackson's stock and trade since he ran for president 30 years ago.
This
is what he does.
That's not true. What the Reverend Jesse Jackson stands up for civil rights.
David, hang on one second. David, hold your fire. Hold your fire. Richard, go.
Listen, how dare David ever criticize Jesse Jackson? When it came time to release the hostages, we sent Jesse Jackson to get our men and women from abroad back here at home. Not to mention the fact that the Reverend, wait a minute now, not to mention the fact that the Reverend has stood up for civil rights for his entire life. He's defended the innocent, he's defended the abused, he's defended those that were mistreated.
I got it, Richard. Richard, you do this when I went to Reverend Barber, when I went to Representative
Don't mix apples and oranges. Don't mix apples and oranges, David. Don't do that.
Gentlemen, keep it on the topic here. All right? Hang on one moment here, David. Okay. Well, why, again, does this come up? You know, is it just because Cummings is black and Issa is white? Is that the reason?
Absolutely, because, Bill, according to Jesse Jackson, we are now supposed to believe that when a white man and a black man argue, the white man is racist. This is what he's putting forward. In that case, in this country, we would have a real problem because whites and blacks argue all the time.
Richard, what about that?
Well, I think David's completely and totally glazing over the issue here. It's not the fact that there was an argument. Jesse Jackson's comment was based on the fact that not only was there an argument, but Representative Issa shut off the mic of Representative Cummings. And this is the first time we've seen this. I talked to folks on the Hill. I've talked to folks that worked on this committee. And this is the first time we've ever seen such upheaval. And just,
by the way,
hang on, David. There's been other examples of that happening. Listen, I've got to run, but David, I'll quickly give you the last word there. CPAC. Go.
Look, we are not to believe, as I sit down here at CPAC, that just because you're white and you have an argument with a black person, you're a racist. Richard deflects and Jesse Jackson assaults with words. He's irrelevant, and in the end, this man needs to walk off the stage and stop being an old demagogue.
All you got is deflection,
David. All right,
David.
gentlemen, thanks to both of you. I appreciate you coming on. We wanted to have this discussion. David Webb, Richard Fowler. Thanks.